Welcome to the 26-27 school year. My name is Angie Powers and I'm your Olathe NE president. And this video is just updating you on our negotiations process as well as what was in the MOU that the bargaining unit and the board ratified at the end of the 25-26 school year. First off, I'll remind you that we are continuing negotiations. You will learn more about when those negotiations will start, and until we come to a final contract for the 26-27 school year, the contents of the 25-26 negotiated agreement will continue until we're able to update our negotiations process, including, of course, finances, benefits, all of that. So more information to come. Wanted to provide you also a little more information about the MOU. So I'm going to go ahead and start on our Olathe NEA website underneath the bargaining tab. If you notice that one of the documents we have is what you need to know about leave. People ask for a cheat sheet on all of the leaves that we have. So this document has been around for a couple years, but we do update it every year with the result of our negotiations. And while we aren't done with negotiations, the MOU did have a big win based on the voices of educators like you. And that win was blackout days. We know that our goal is ultimately to eliminate those blackout days. However, we're able to at least come to a 50% reduction. And because we had an MOU, those blackout days being reduced begin starting now with the beginning of the school year. You will notice this document will continue to update as we have new pieces when it comes to leave, but I wanted to highlight that. I'll also point out that underneath the MOU part of the website, we do have the updated personnel calendar, the blackout day calendar. I want you to remember that we were able to come to the MOU really late in the year. Like we almost didn't make it by the end of the school year. So if you see a blackout calendar, one that looks like this, where almost all of August is blacked out, then that is the old blackout calendar. There was a calendar published that had the old language for blackout days, and that calendar is still floating out there. So please keep that in mind. The easiest way to remember it is for our returning educators. There are only 2 blackout days in all of August, and that is very different than what we were operating under the old language. Already talked about leaves. I did want to point out that we do have a negotiated agreement MOU chatbot. Some of you have seen our chatbot before. Yes, this is an AI enabled. However, the only sources that this chatbot pull from are Olathe School District sources. So if you ask a question right here in the middle, it's only going to pull from these documents. What I really love about this chatbot is that it helps you check the accuracy, because of course anything with AI, we want to check it. So when I ask a question here about the blackout days. It goes through what the blackout days are and all of these like little footnotes. If you hover over that, it shows you the document that that language is in. So you can verify that the information the chatbot is giving to you is correct. Also wanted to point out here, of course, our 25-26 agreement, which is what we're currently operating under, is right there. It's a PDF. We also have a couple of individual pieces. Wanted again to spend a little time on the MOU. All of the language in the MOU is included in this document. Okay, we have all of the calendars. We have the Olathe Keep program handbook. You'll learn more about that in pre-service. We have language about 2-year academies and a Mill Creek campus conferences. Right here is a little more language, updated language about our appraisal system that was a pilot last year that is now district-wide. This kind of outlines some of that piece. Again, I've already mentioned the blackout days. Again, about a 50% reduction of those blackout days. The piece that I really wanted to highlight, besides the blackout days, was the special education, paperwork days. This is modeled off of some language in other districts, and then of course we tailored it to fit what works here in Olathe. This is for any certified SPED staff member who's involved with writing and implementing evaluations and IEPs in compliance with IDEA. And those are 4 days. They are not 1 day per quarter, they are 4 days. Okay, so The way that an educator is able to access those paperwork days is through their supervisor. So most of you, that's your principal. You will work with them to find a date or dates. If you want to schedule them for the whole year, you could do that. We do have a little caveat here that they don't roll over. You use them or you don't use them. And if you don't want to use them, you do not have to. If you normally get a sub, or at least they try to get you a sub on when you're gone, then they will do the same. If when you're gone, there's normally no sub at all, then there still would not be a sub called for that. Um, we do have some language about the paperwork days being taken in full day increments, and that really is a cost thing. Two half-day subs is way more expensive than a full day sub. However, if there are, two SPED staff members at one building and they want to do a half day on the same day and they want to share that sub, that is totally fine. Make that work for you. You want to work with your principal again, or your supervisor to determine the date of those by mutual agreement of those days. Keep in mind, Mondays and Fridays are usually more difficult to get subs, but we did not put any restrictions on days, but we will want to obviously pick days where there's not already a ton of other people scheduled out, at least for things that we know about ahead of time. I do want to point out those paperwork days are for a variety of things. Okay. It's not just for doing IEPs, although I know that doing your IEPs is plenty of work in itself. You could use it for student testing. If that is something that would be helpful to you, you can absolutely do that. We are asking that those SPED paperwork days occur at either the home building, if there's a space where you can work. I do know that for some of our SPED staff, if you are in the building, you will never get anything done. Or you can find another location within a district building. Please know that if you are having a hard time finding a location, we do have some availability at the IRC. I have an office at the IRC that I'd be happy to let somebody use if that would be helpful to you. And then again, the goal is that the SPED paperwork days will help balance some of the workload of our SPED educators, but they are not required. And then lastly, we did just do some clarifying language with elementary plan time that if you have 5 student contact days in a week, that is 300 minutes of plan time, and only one of those plan times can happen before school. And then if it is a 4-day student contact week, it is 240. We took out in the elementary plan time language, there were a lot of words like usually, routinely, and we took out all of that language. It is a minimum of 300 minutes for a 5-day student contact week and a minimum of 240 minutes for plan time in a 4-day student contact week. It is not, we'll try our best. That is your plan time. And wanted to make sure that we clarified that because we are hearing a lot from our elementary educators, particularly on short weeks, having a hard time getting their plan time in. We cannot wait to hear more from you all. What you all tell us is important to you is what we fight for at the table. We know this year is going to be challenging in a lot of ways, and it is more important than ever that educators, regardless of our job category, whether we're counselors, whether we're early childhood, whether we're 3rd grade teachers, that we work together for our working conditions because they are our students' learning conditions. Would love to have you join Olathe NEA. If you haven't already, you can join at knea.org/join. Have a great day.